Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to be doing a special review for Queen's The Miracle, their 1989 classic 13th studio album, this being the 2 CD deluxe edition of it that just came out on November 18th, but we've also got this, the super deluxe box set version of it. And so we're going to dive into both of these things here in just a bit, but before we do, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this, with a special review for the Super Deluxe Edition box set of Queen, The Miracle. So the album itself, as I mentioned, is their 13th studio album and originally came out back in 1989, but they started it a year earlier in 1988, so spending a full year doing the recording of it. And the cool thing is, it was originally going to be called The Invisible Man up until just a few weeks before, and then the band changed it, and they don't quite remember the rationale or the reason behind it, but going from Invisible Man to Miracle. And in all, they released 5 singles from the box. I Want It All, which is a personal favorite of mine, Breakthrough, Invisible Man, Scandal, and then the last single being The Miracle. And I kind of thought it was interesting that the first and last single became their biggest singles from the album itself, whereas usually it's like, the first and second one and the other ones kind of each taper off throughout. But that's sort of showing you Queen's staying power. And the album art itself, and that's part of the reason I have the 2 CD version of it here to be able to show you, is the way that they did this merging of their 4 faces together really sort of showed their thinking on this album, that instead of presenting the album credits individually, they decided to present it as a whole, just as Queen music, a Queen product. And so both the album art and the way they were thinking about this album as a whole kind of went hand in hand, and I always thought that was a cool thing as well. As part of this box set version here, there are 6 unreleased songs included on it. When Love Breaks Up, You Know You Belong to Me, I Guess We're Falling Out, Dog with Bone, Water, and Face It Alone. And Face It Alone is the one that they've recently released to promote this, and there's a music video for it and everything. So that's pretty cool, getting basically brand new Queen music. Of course, all this being with Freddie Mercury, so making it all that much better. There's also 5 outtakes that appeared as B-sides throughout the course of this. Hang On In There, Stealin', Hijack My Heart, My Life Has Been Saved, and Chinese Torture. And the reason I'm pointing all of these out, the 6 unreleased and the 5 outtake songs, is that with this box set, you're getting 11 studio tracks that aren't on this album or any of the other albums. So for me, at least, as a collector and a fan of Queen, that's the stuff that I sink my teeth into and really get into on this stuff, is that unreleased material. But first, let's just do a quick run through of this, the 2 CD edition, which the same stuff that's on here does appear on the box, but I wanted people to know that there is a 2-disc version of this that's pretty cool. Disc 1 up front like that, and then you've got, nice little book here. With some information. It's got the lyrics and stuff like that that's on it. Cool band photos and things. No write-up or anything. That's all saved for what's in the box set. But what's in this one here is the 2nd disc, and it is the Miracle Sessions. And that's got those first 6 unreleased songs that I read off to you. And so if you've been hearing, on the radio, or you downloaded the single for Face It Alone, that's included on here. You can get it as part of the 2 CD edition of this. And totally worthwhile. And to start, I have to say that I picked up the 2 CD one in advance because my version of the Queen box set was back ordered through Amazon for about a week, which is why I'm getting to it a little later here in terms of its review. So I had a chance to digest that 2nd disc because I got that on release day. And so the sessions themselves, what I really like about that is that it basically is the stripped down version of the album. The tracks are in sequence the same way as the album itself. But before all that production and polish and 80s sheen that was added to everything, glossing it up, and that was always my complaint on this album. There's some good singles and stuff like that, but I always thought the album was way overproduced. And so that 2nd disc, the Miracle Sessions, is before they added all of that. So for me, I popped that thing on and suddenly I found myself loving the Miracle far more than I ever had previously to this, and was able to dive into it that much more. And the rest of the discs in here, the same sort of thing. So let me actually open this thing up, and I'm going to get into talking more about that here. But we've got ourselves just a lift top style box. You can see we've got the logo here. This does come with a sheet on the back side telling you everything that's there. Mine's on the inside, and you're going to see it here in just a bit. But we'll lift this top right off here. There we go. Nothing on the inside, unlike Queen's News of the World had some interesting print inside there. And then in here, I've got that sheet that's on the back, and I've also got the hype sticker. So let me show you that real quick. I know a lot of you guys enjoy seeing these things. If you want to pause on that, you can. It just tells you all the content that's in here. And then this, again, on the back side of it, really goes into detail of what the track listing and everything is that's in here. And so then we move into the content of the box. And so this does come with a 12-inch vinyl of the album itself. But what's really cool is this features the original running order and track listing of it, which adds one track to this. It's the song Too Much Love Will Kill You that would later turn up on the last album, the posthumous release Made in Heaven album. But there you go, and they've got the sticker right on it. I don't know if you can peel that off or not, but it is a sticker. It's not printed on it. I kind of wish that was on the cellophane, and then if I had taken the cellophane off, I could get that off. But there you go. And apparently it's the first time this is ever being done as a gatefold. So you do get that. Too Much Love Will Kill You becomes the 5th track on the album. So they don't just tack it on at the end. They said that is where it was originally intended to be, and then through the course of it they actually eliminated that. But you do get a nice sleeve for this thing replicating the original one, and that's pretty cool there. So if you're a vinyl fan, you are getting that with this. And then underneath that, just a little black envelope that's right there, but that's got a bunch of goodies in it, and we're going to get to that. And I'm going to lift that out, and then the last thing being the hardcover book, and that's actually where the CDs and everything are in. So my only real kind of complaint about this box set is that the CDs themselves are just inside the book. There's no individual sleeve, at least not for these 4 CDs or that 5th one. But then for the DVDs, they put them in a sleeve. And I'm sort of thinking, why couldn't they have all been in little cardboard sleeves? But that's another thing. I do want to show you a little bit of the inside of the book, and then I'm going to get into the track listing of all of this and why, some of this is really cool here. So I will talk about that. But I did want to show you, this thing is really full of great photos and stuff. What I thought was really cool, the way they put this together, is they break it up into the 5 singles, and they use a lot of footage from the music videos and things like that in terms of this. And they talk about the album and break it down in that regard, which is a very interesting way to do it, not just sort of a straight chronological kind of a thing. But there you go, the book and so forth. So let's talk about the CDs, and then I'm going to get to the memorabilia part of this. So musically, as I mentioned, you have the LP, and so that's the disc 1 that's in here that adds that extra track, Too Much Love Will Kill You. Then CD, or the second disc being a CD, The Miracle, and that's remastered. CD, or disc 3 is a CD, The Miracle Sessions, and that's the same as the second disc on here. So discs, this here, which is a 2-disc set, are the discs 2 and 3 that are part of this. So you're getting the exact same thing, so you don't have to buy both of them the way that I did. Then CD, disc 4 that's in here is a CD called Alternative Miracle. And I wasn't sure what I was going to think about this, but what's interesting is this was actually something that was proposed by the Queen fan club, and it was put together and it was going to happen, and then it just lost its steam, and the band decided to not release it as something for their fan club. Here we are all these years later now, 35th anniversary, getting the, or not quite 35th anniversary, I guess 33rd anniversary, we're getting this thing. And so what it is this alternate miracle. They basically took all the singles and their B-sides and released it as a compilation album. So like track 1, I Want It All, is a single version. Then you get the B-side, Hang On In There. Then you get Breakthrough, which is a 12-inch version, and the B-side, Stealin'. And it just goes all the way through like that on here. So you're getting single and remix editions of the singles, and you're getting the B-sides that go with it. So it's kind of another alternate way to hear the album as what it could have been. They could have gone with those B-sides over the tracks that appeared on the album. You never know. But basically, the Miracle Sessions and Alternate Miracle have turned out to be really fun, fabulous listens. Whereas sometimes these bands have these alternate takes, demos, and stuff like that. And it's just kind of, you listen to it once, it's cool, but it's not really something you want to put back on. I have found myself returning to this many times. The 5th disc in here is a CD, also Miracle Mentals. So Miracle Instrumentals is what they're trying to say there, and it's the instrumentals and backing tracks. And this too was one that I didn't think I'd be that interested in, but in all, it's actually really great to have Freddie Mercury's vocals stripped away from this thing, and again, all that polish and sheen, because it hadn't been done yet, and just hear the instruments, because there's so much going on in Queen songs, that to focus on that and get that and to hear that has made this album, again, rise in sort of the way that I thought about it and become much more important to me in terms of their catalog than I had originally seen it as, and just very fun. So it's the 10 album tracks done this way. There are some backing vocals and things on it, but as a whole, it's all instrumental. And the 5th disc being a CD of radio interviews I've yet to listen to. I may do it one time just out of pure curiosity, but I really have no interest in that. They could have left that out as far as I'm concerned. It was done as a 1-hour radio interview. It was a special. There is a rock line program that's on here as well, and some outtakes from it. So I mean, it is cool, and it was a radio show that was done, not just a kind of random interview, but not something that I'm interested in when it is that old and all that information already known about it. And then we get a Blu-ray and a DVD separate, so that's the 2 discs you saw in the back in those sleeves, and it features the Miracle videos. So you do get all 5 videos in here. You get interviews, you get the making of the album cover itself, and the making of the Miracle videos themselves. So a lot of cool footage on that for you. So I mean, just all in all, you're getting cool stuff to hear, to see, the book to read, and all that sort of stuff. And then you get some cool memorabilia stuff. And this is just an envelope that lifts like this. And this is how we'll close this thing out here. Let me see if I can get all this out. All right. So immediately right off the bat, we've got a couple cool larger than life postcards. Don't think I'd be sending these through the mail, but those come with it. And then we've got 4 prints of the band, probably the ones that were originally used to make the album art. And I probably would know that if I read the entirety of the book, which I have not gotten through all the way, but I have to say it has been intriguing. And then we've got another poster of this time the 4 faces, like that, which is very cool, before they had been all blended together. And we have another poster in here of the album art itself. If I can open that all the way and get this to appear for you. There we go. There's the full entirety of that. So not quite as much memorabilia type stuff, no guitar pick stickers, things like that we usually get with it, like we got for News of the World and replica newspapers and stuff like that. But you did get some stuff. I will say that I think the musical aspect on this box set is better than what was included in News of the World, but that's just my opinion. I think I'll be returning and listening to the bonus content of this box set here, the Miracle, far more than I will of News of the World. But that's just my comparison between the two. All in all, I do think that this is a worthy addition to the Queen catalog for collectors to pick up. If you do think it's too expensive or maybe a little too much that you don't need in your collection, the 2-disc set is very, very worthwhile having in the collection. So I think either way you go, the 2-disc or the full box set version of this, you're going to be a happy fan if you get that sort of stuff. So there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed this, the Queen Miracle Deluxe Edition box set review. 13th studio album, originally released in 1989. All right, everyone, have a good one. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.